Alright guys, my search is over. Finally found my old body style Chevy Silverado for gonna use it for hunting, bahaing, kind of in the woods, hauling wood, just kind of daily chore stuff. I don't have to drive my new Silverado on the gravel and in the salt and all this stuff. Picked this one up near Minneapolis, St. Paul. Bought it from my cousin, and it was his grandpa's daily driver for a number of years. Been looking for one of these pickups for quite a while. Prices are still pretty high. Well, the prices are high on everything right now, but relatively most of them were going for $2,500, $3,000, and they were as rusty, if not rustier, than this one. So I picked this one up for $500. First of all, let's talk about what's good. Door handles. Door handles work on both sides. Got that classic Chevy door opening creak. This handle was unhooked. Just had to take the door panel off, get that back on. The trim piece was missing. I haven't been able to find a trim piece at the junkyard yet. But getting inside, everything works except basically the air conditioning. All the windows roll up, all the door locks work, all the lights work. The four-wheel drive, that push-button four-wheel drive, which is notorious for being garbage, that works for right now. Four-wheel drive sounds good when it's running down the road. Go to turn the key, and luckily the door chime thing does not work, so that's an annoying feature that's gone. Starts up, runs a little bit rough. I've got to put plugs and wires in it yet. The gas gauge likes to do a little bit of flying around when you first start it up, but it is pretty accurate. That's basically what is in there for gas. Looking at 196,000 miles, so that's not overly terrible. The interior is pretty clean. You can see the seat. It's got its tear there, but this is a 98. This truck's 24 years old. A lot of times there's been butts sliding across this. Of course, you got the classic rust here, and the weather stripping is shot. But most everything works as it should. All your brake release, your parking brake release, all those work. They're all there, are all intact. Basically, the only button that's missing in the whole truck on the interior is just that knob for turning the radio stations. But like I said, this truck came from the metro area of Minneapolis, St. Paul, so you can see she's seen a lot of salt and stuff, so she's pretty rusty. Getting around to this side, had to do a little work on that. Not a big deal. That wasn't there's little plastic pieces that hold the rods inside. Those are busted off, so a couple zip ties and about a half-hour work, and that was good to go. Just go underneath here real quick. When I picked it up, the receiver hitch was rusted through. You could actually put your fist almost all the way through it. Went to the junkyard, picked one up for $50, got it on there. New bolts and the whole works. The trailer wiring, that all works surprisingly. The shocks were pretty rusty, so I put some new shocks in it. Had to put some brake lines in it, never mind my compression fittings there. Not going to be buzzing this thing down the interstate or hauling big loads with it, but you can see she's pretty rusty underneath here. I'm going to change the fluid in the rear end there. As we're talking about things that I replaced, pop the hood here. Put some new windshield wipers on, those were garbage. The hood release works, the hood stays up, that's pretty nice. Had to put on a new brake booster. The brake booster was shot. Brakes went all the way to the floor. Got that one at a junkyard for $50. Had to replace some lines here, never mind the compression fittings. But one of the good things about this truck is there is nothing that leaks. That's really a big deal. I went and looked at a couple of trucks, and just the differentials and everything, just there's motor oil caked on, leaked everywhere. This one actually, for this age, is pretty clean. This truck sat for about a year and a half. So they popped a battery in it and it fired right off. I'm gonna change the plugs and wires. That's one thing I got yet to do to it. So I've done brakes, calipers, rotors. Gonna need some new tires. These are pretty hashed out, but they'll work for now until we get to winter. Got some rust peeking through there. That's pretty common. Basically, one of the only things that's really broke on this truck is this mirror is broke. Power mirrors still work. Got to charge the AC. As you can see, she's rusty under there. All the weather seals are actually pretty good on this truck still. They're not overly dried out and they don't leak. This one is wrecked just a little bit right there. Third door opens. Don't really have that whistle that I was anticipating, so the weather seals must still be pretty good. Seats are in not bad condition, just needs a little cleaning, but overall the interior is not too bad. Door shut pretty decent. So like I said, I paid $500 for this thing and even got this egregious topper with it. You can see that it's pretty sun faded, whatever, but We're not going to be entering any beauty contests with this thing. It's just going to be a functional hunting rig, short trip fishing. Going to get it up to my cabin and leave it there, so when I boat across I can have something to drive. I guess I shut the door a little too hard and a little more the body fell off. Give you one more look at that rust there. Look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? That just adds so much character. Not really, but you can see the frame's pretty rusty. But overall, a four-wheel drive pickup that runs and drives, hopefully get the air conditioning going. But in reality, I've put about $600 into it, or I'll have $600 into it by the time that I've got it done. So we're looking at about 1,100 to 1,200 bucks. Once I put tires on, we'll be getting closer to $2,000, but new tires in this thing should be pretty good. So what do you think? $500.